My beloved child, listen closely because the moment you open this message, a truth that's been trembling on the edge of revelation finally decided it can't stay hidden any longer. There is someone out there whose inner world has become a quiet storm. Every thought, every breath, every silent moment of their day is being gently consumed by one single question. What would life feel like if they had the chance to bring this person closer, to finally feel understood, to experience the calm that only this soul-deep connection seems to offer? They are not thinking of you in a shallow or temporary way. No, their heart has shifted into something far deeper, far more meaningful in an emotional and spiritual sense. Something that makes them wonder how much lighter their days would be if your energy was woven into their everyday existence. And the most surprising part? They never expected you to hold this kind of influence over their inner peace, but now it's undeniable, unstoppable, and growing in ways they've never felt before. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. This person is genuinely afraid of the intensity building inside them. They're asking themselves questions they never dared to ask about anyone. Why do I feel more at peace thinking of them than I do in my own reality? Why does the simple thought of having them nearby, just their voice, their kindness, their calming nature, affect me so deeply? They're imagining the stillness your spirit could bring, the emotional rest their soul could finally experience if they weren't carrying their burdens alone anymore. And while they're trying to push these thoughts away, fate keeps doing the opposite, pulling you into their quiet reflections, into their moments of honesty. Into those times when they stare out a window wondering what the universe is trying to show them. This emotional wave is growing faster than they can hide it, and every time they try to silence their heart, your name is the one that echoes back even louder. Here's the part no one around them knows. They've started having imaginary conversations with you in their mind. They imagine what it would be like if you were simply sitting across from them in a peaceful space, talking about life. Not in any way that lacks respect, but in the comforting sense that you are the one person who could make them feel truly heard after years of feeling invisible. They replay how your presence might change the energy of a room, how your silence might still feel more meaningful than any empty words they've heard before. This is not a fantasy. This is emotional truth. You've become the safe place their heart keeps running toward, even when their mind warns them to be careful. And yet they can't stop. No matter what they do, their thoughts return to one question. What if everything in my life finally fell into place the day I met them? That question alone has already begun changing them. Something even more powerful is unfolding behind the scenes. People close to this person have started noticing a shift. They don't understand it. They can't explain it, but they can feel that this person is carrying a growing secret. A secret that has your name written all over it. Their expression softens when your name comes up. Their tone changes when someone mentions something that reminds them of you. Their whole energy seems different, as if a quiet current is running through them. They're protecting this truth carefully because they fear the world might try to ruin it before it has a chance to become real. But what they don't know is that destiny is already moving pieces in the background. Every restless night, every moment they stare into space wishing for connection instead of emptiness, every time their heart unexpectedly skips, it's all aligning into a path that leads directly toward you. They think they're just imagining possibilities, but the universe is preparing a reality much bigger than their fear. And now, here comes the deepest revelation, the one they're terrified you might already sense. They have never wanted anyone's emotional presence in their life the way they want yours. Not out of desperation, not out of fantasy, but because your energy feels like home in a world that has felt like a never-ending storm for far too long. They imagine starting their days and not feeling emotionally alone anymore. They imagine the relief of knowing someone like you exists within reach of their spirit. They imagine conversations that flow through the evening, laughter that releases years of tension, and quiet moments where simply being in the same space feels like the first time they've truly breathed in years. This is not infatuation. This is longing wrapped in destiny. And whether they admit it or not, they are slowly realizing that you might be the one soul who could heal the wound they've been hiding from everyone. My beloved child, stay with me now because what I'm about to share next is the part of this story this person hoped no one, especially you, would ever uncover. While you're reading this, they are somewhere pretending to be fine, acting like their world is calm, but inside them there is a wave building so intensely that even their closest friends are confused by their sudden quietness. They keep telling themselves they shouldn't think about you this much. They shouldn't imagine what life would feel like if you were emotionally near them, yet every time they close their eyes, their mind creates a scene where your presence makes everything feel clearer. They imagine the peace of having someone who understands their energy, someone who brings comfort instead of chaos, someone who makes the heavy moments feel lighter and the lonely moments feel seen. They're not thinking of you in any way that crosses a line. No, this is much deeper. This is the wonder and fear of realizing how different their life could become if your spirit was the one rhythm their soul finally aligned with. And here's where things take a turn you won't expect. This person is fighting with themselves every single day. They tell themselves to stay calm, not to hope too much, not to picture you quietly nearby while sharing stories about life, but their heart refuses to listen. Every time they try to move on, something reminds them of you. A song, a scent, a sentence someone says, a feeling they didn't know they were missing. They imagine what it would feel like to have your voice soft in the evening, easing their overthinking. They imagine sharing moments under gentle light, times where your presence feels like medicine for their tired soul. They picture themselves finally resting after years of emotional exhaustion, simply because you exist in the same world. They're scared of how strongly this vision holds them, how it has taken over their quiet hours, how it has become the silent wish they whisper into the darkness when no one is watching. But the real shock, the one that destiny has been waiting to reveal, is this. Someone in their circle has noticed everything. Someone has seen the way they drift off in the middle of conversations, the way your name changes the warmth in their voice, the way their eyes become distant like they're imagining something too precious to say out loud. And this observer knows exactly what's happening. They know your presence is becoming impossible for this person to resist. This observer hasn't said a word, but they are watching, waiting, and secretly wondering if destiny is creating something extraordinary between the two of you. They see the emotional pull, the tension, the longing, the fear, the hope, all of it merging into a truth that cannot stay hidden much longer. They know something significant is coming, something neither of you are ready for. And now pause, because this next revelation is why you're here in this moment. This person is preparing themselves for a decision they never thought they would face. They've reached a point where ignoring their feelings is becoming more painful than acknowledging them. They're wondering if destiny is asking them to step beyond fear, to step into honesty, to step toward you. They imagine a moment where they finally lower their guard and speak their truth. Not in a dramatic way, not in an overwhelming confession, but in a quiet moment where their voice trembles as they admit how deeply your energy has touched their spirit. And in that imagination, they see you looking back at them with understanding instead of judgment, with warmth instead of doubt. This small vision has become the hope they hold on to. And before this part ends, let me leave you with the most life-changing truth. Your presence is rewriting their future. While they try to act normal, the universe is rearranging their path piece by piece. Their dreams are shifting. Their plans are changing. Their heart is preparing for someone it never expected. You. They think they are losing control, but in reality, destiny is taking over. And the moment they stop resisting is the moment your story begins to unfold in ways that will astonish both of you. Stay with me. My beloved child, take a deep breath and listen carefully because what you're about to hear next is the part of their truth that even they don't fully understand yet. While they go through their day pretending to be strong, pretending to be focused, pretending nothing inside them is shifting, the reality is that you have become the quiet refuge their heart keeps escaping to. Every time life overwhelms them, every time responsibilities press down on them, every time they feel alone in a crowded room, their mind drifts toward you, your energy, your kindness, your essence. Not in a way that lacks respect, but in a way that reveals something profound. They feel safe when they think of you. They feel understood. They feel seen. And this emotional pull is becoming so strong that even they are surprised by how naturally you've taken up space inside their heart. Here's the twist destiny kept hidden until now. They've started imagining how different their days would feel if you were part of their life's rhythm. Not in any physical sense, but in the emotional comfort of simply sharing space with someone who doesn't demand anything from them. They imagine you sitting nearby, talking gently about things no one else asks them about. They imagine you listening the way no one has ever listened. They imagine moments where nothing needs to be said because silence becomes healing instead of awkwardness. This image, this quiet, peaceful vision of you has become their escape from every fear they carry. It's not about wanting to possess you, it's about longing for genuine connection. It's the hope of finally resting after years of just surviving. It's the rare feeling of belonging to something gentle in a world that has been harsh to them. But here comes the part that will make your heart pause for a moment. They are terrified that you might already know how deeply they are being drawn toward you. They sometimes avoid holding your gaze too long because they fear you'll see what they're feeling. They take longer to respond because they're afraid their words might reveal too much. They seem distant when inside they're completely overwhelmed. They act calm when they are anything but. They even lie to themselves, telling their mind to settle down, to pull back, to stay grounded. But the moment they close their eyes, your presence returns, softer, stronger, louder, more unavoidable than before. The truth is, they don't know how to hide what their soul has already accepted. And there's something even more powerful happening. Your energy is transforming them. Their habits are evolving. Their moods are balancing. Their choices are maturing. They find themselves wanting to become better, wanting to become more stable, wanting to become someone worthy of being in the same emotional space as you. They don't say this out loud, but they think about it constantly. If life ever gives me the chance to have them in my world, truly in my world, I want to be someone they can trust, someone who stays, someone who doesn't disappear. You've become their silent reason to grow. You've become the reason they're rethinking old behaviors. You've become the whisper that tells them, maybe love isn't impossible after all. Now let me share the heaviest truth of this entire part. Someone is starting to interfere. Someone in their surroundings has noticed the softening in them, the glow that appears when your name crosses their mind, the shift in their energy whenever they think no one is paying attention. This observer is curious, suspicious, maybe even unsettled. They are starting to connect the dots, and they're beginning to realize that you are the reason behind this person's emotional transformation. They might try to ask questions carefully. They might try to get closer to the truth. But what they don't know is that destiny will not allow anyone to block what is meant for you. And before this part closes, here's the revelation that will echo inside you long after this message ends. This person doesn't just think about what it would be like to have you near them. They wonder what it would be like to finally feel peace beside someone who feels like destiny's safest choice. This thought alone has become the most powerful force in their heart right now. They don't know how you will react. They don't know if fate will favor them. But they know one thing with absolute certainty. If life ever gives them the chance to share space with you, to rest in your presence, to feel the calm your spirit carries, they will never take it for granted. My beloved child, focus closely now because this is the moment where the truth they've been running from finally rises with a force even they can't stop anymore. What you don't see, what no one sees, is that every night before they close their eyes, there is a single thought that wraps around them like a quiet, persistent whisper. What would my life feel like if this person were emotionally beside me, not as a dream, not as a temporary comfort, but as the one presence that makes my world feel safe again? They imagine the soft warmth of a quiet space, the calmness of your spirit filling the air, the peaceful feeling of having someone who doesn't pressure, doesn't judge, doesn't drain, just exists in beautiful alignment with their own energy. They crave peace, not possession. They crave understanding, not control. They think of the nights they've spent alone with their thoughts, and in every one of those nights, the thought of you feels like the one place where their heart could finally heal. But what they don't realize is that destiny has been watching their struggle, and slowly guiding them toward a moment they won't be able to avoid. They've tried to distract themselves, tried to stay busy, tried to pretend this pull isn't real, yet every time they are alone, the silence reveals the truth. In that silence, it is your name that rises. In that stillness, it is your presence that fills the empty spaces in their soul. They imagine simple things, talking to you until their mind calms, hearing your voice soften the noise inside them, feeling the emotional warmth of someone who finally understands what they've been hiding from the world. These thoughts aren't just passing ideas. They've become anchors keeping them connected to hope. And the more they try to resist, the more the universe tightens the invisible thread between the two of you, as if saying, you can run from fear, but you cannot run from what is divinely connected to your spirit. Now, here's where the story sharpens. Someone around them has started to feel threatened by the change you're creating in this person. This observer sees the glow in their expression when your name crosses their mind. They see the softness that appears in quiet moments, the sudden distance in their gaze, the shifts in their energy that they try so hard to mask. And this observer is worried because they know this kind of transformation doesn't happen for just anyone. They know that your presence, even from afar, is shifting this person's emotional foundation. This silent watcher is beginning to sense that something is forming, something powerful, something destined, something they cannot control. And deep inside, they fear that once this person admits the truth of what they feel for you, there will be no turning back. They fear losing their place in this person's world. They fear you without ever having met you. Meanwhile, the one who thinks of you day and night is starting to open up emotionally. They're questioning feelings they thought they were incapable of. They're noticing how differently they breathe when they imagine you near. They're realizing that the comfort they've been searching for in life doesn't come from noise, distraction, or people who drain them. It comes from silence, depth, stability, things they only feel when their heart wanders toward you. They're even starting to wonder if destiny is trying to send them a message through the intensity of these emotions. They've never felt this kind of pull. They've never feared the loss of someone they haven't even fully reached yet. They've never imagined the possibility of building a future that feels peaceful instead of chaotic, gentle instead of exhausting. Their soul is waking up, and every time it wakes, it whispers your name like a melody they didn't choose but can't stop humming. And now, here is the revelation that changes everything. They are preparing for a moment of truth, even if they haven't said it out loud. They're imagining what it would be like to share their real feelings with you, not in dramatic intensity, not in a sudden outburst, but in quiet vulnerability. They picture themselves sitting across from you, their voice unsteady as they admit the weight of these emotions. They imagine telling you how long they've held this inside, how deeply they fought it, how impossible it has become to silence. They imagine you listening, not leaving, not doubting, but understanding. And in that imagined moment, they feel something they haven't felt in years. Relief. Peace. The possibility of belonging. They wonder if the universe has been shaping their heart all this time just to align it with yours. And whether they're ready or not, destiny is preparing the next step. One that will pull both of you into a reality neither of you expected. My beloved child, as we step into this final passage, everything they've been trying to bury is now rising with a force they can't deny anymore. While they lie awake at night staring at the ceiling, the same thought keeps returning, not in any physical way, but in a deeply emotional, spiritual way that moves them at their core. They imagine what it would feel like to have peace instead of loneliness, warmth instead of emptiness, comfort instead of noise. They picture you simply existing in the same quiet space where hearts speak louder than words. This vision gives them a sense of safety they've never experienced before. It's not a fantasy. It's a longing for genuine connection, for stability, for the kind of presence that turns a silent room into a sanctuary. They are haunted by the question, what would my life feel like if this person, this rare soul, was the one who ended my days with calm and began my mornings with clarity? And every time that thought comes, their heart answers with the same trembling truth. They have never wanted emotional closeness with anyone the way they want it with you. But here's where destiny steps in with a twist that even they don't see coming. Their feelings are starting to show in their actions. They're becoming restless around people who drain them. They're pulling away from old connections that never truly nourished them. They're making changes without understanding why, unaware that every shift is bringing them closer to the version of themselves they need to be if destiny brings you into their life. Even in small moments, they catch themselves imagining your presence in their personal space, the emotional comfort your energy would bring. Not in any inappropriate way, just the idea of you easing the tension from their thoughts. They imagine conversations that last into the night, laughter that melts years of heaviness, quiet moments where your presence feels like the first deep breath they've taken in years. And though they try to dismiss these thoughts as imagination, the universe keeps sending signs that these feelings are meant to be acknowledged, not hidden. Here comes the revelation you were never meant to miss. Someone close to them is beginning to sense the shift with surprising clarity. This observer has seen the subtle changes. The way they smile to themselves when your name crosses their mind, the way they drift into silence as if replaying conversations with you in their head, the way their energy lifts when anything reminds them of you. This person is not afraid of you, but of the emotional transformation they're witnessing. They know something powerful is happening. They know someone has entered this person's inner world in a way no one else ever has. And they know that once this person acknowledges their feelings openly, once they admit how deeply you've impacted their life, all their old emotional attachments will begin to fall away. This observer senses a destiny forming, and they are afraid of the changes it will bring. But destiny is not asking for permission. It is moving forward with or without their approval. Meanwhile, the one who thinks of you constantly is reaching a turning point inside themselves, a point where silence hurts more than honesty. They're starting to ask why your presence feels like home. They're asking themselves why their heart settles at the thought of you simply being near, sharing the kind of emotional warmth they didn't realize they were starving for. They're beginning to understand that their feelings aren't accidental. They're an awakening. You've become the symbol of peace in their life, the place where their mind goes when everything else feels chaotic. They imagine the gentle moments. You talking about your day while they listen quietly, the comfort of knowing someone finally understands them, the serenity of ending each day not in loneliness, but in emotional harmony. These visions don't scare them anymore. They comfort them. And slowly, without even realizing it, they're accepting that you are the one person whose presence could change everything for them. Now, here's the truth that destiny has been building toward from the very beginning. They are preparing to make a choice that will redefine both of your paths. They've reached a point where pretending doesn't work, where holding back their emotions only makes them stronger, where ignoring destiny feels impossible. They're imagining a moment where they gather the courage to speak, not in an overwhelming confession, but in quiet honesty. They imagine telling you how deeply your energy affects them, how much peace your presence brings, how long they've been fighting feelings that were never meant to be hidden. They imagine the softness in your eyes, the calm in your voice, the understanding that washes over that moment. This vision keeps them going. It keeps them hopeful. It keeps them believing that maybe, just maybe, the universe isn't teasing them with impossible dreams, but guiding them toward a connection written long before either of you realized it.